Hi people, welcome back to my channel. My wrist is a bit stiff, but I thought I'd do a real quick video just talking about Pisces and Scorpio compatibility and what I think of it. Now for me, when I think of Pisces and Scorpio, I think these two is such an intense, amazing compatibility. I find that based on these two signs, they're both water signs, very intense, and I find Pisces is one of the only signs that deal extremely well with Scorpio. Scorpio is a very unusual or difficult sign to many to deal with, and I find Pisces deal with them very, very well. They're both very spiritual, very deep, very sexual, very mysterious type of people, and to have that work together, I just can't think of any other sign that would work best together, So, God, I've got this horrible cold. It's just been in my throat for days. It's just ridiculous. Now, when these two signs come together, I find it to be like this magnetic, electric attraction to each other. They're both water signs as well, which makes it much easier in order for the two to relate and get on. They're both very intense as well because when these two care about people, it's like they go into an obsessive kind of mode. And can you imagine two people being obsessed over each other? Like how crazy that would actually be. But the two signs together, there's gonna be, it's weird because it can either be really, really good or really, really bad. There's no in between. It's just really good or really bad with Scorpio and Pisces. But breaking down Pisces, I always say, because, me being Venus and Pisces, I completely relate to this as well. But Pisces are very generous, they're very romantic, they're dreamy, they're very selfless people. They're generous people, they give more than they get. And Scorpio, being probably the most powerful out of the water signs, I'm sure Scorpios would love to hear that as well. But Scorpio people, they take more than they give, I find, because when you're getting to know a Scorpio, they like to hear more about you than they say about them. They're very, very mysterious characters. They don't trust anyone. And I find Pisces are very good because Pisces like to express a lot of oh, this happened to me, I'm really sad about this happened, and they express a lot of their sadness and their stories to Scorpio, and that's a way of getting Scorpio to trust Pisces, because Pisces is able to express themselves, and Scorpio is able to mother that in a sense where or cuddle that situation. And that's why I find they work when it comes to communicating, because Scorpio tends to take, but Pisces is giving. Even when you guys are not on good terms, the sex between a Pisces and a Scorpio is always going to be magnetic. It's always going to be through this roof, because the chemistry between the two, it's never ever gonna die. You guys are like soulmates in a sense where, even if things are not great, it's like a Hancock situation. You guys separate, but you guys come back to each other. The chemistry and the feeling is still so strong, but you can't be together. That's for a bad relationship between Scorpio and Pisces kind of situation. But a lot of the time it does, it is a very, very good match. It works. But the sex will always be magnetic between the two. Like, even if you guys were together at like 20, broke up, didn't see each other or speak for the next 20 years, you guys get back together, sex is still boom. That's how it is. You know, it's that deep. I find these two to have a very extreme relationship, you know, because it runs so deep between the two. I find Scorpio will be the sign that would more, and probably more female Scorpio would lead in this relationship, purely because, you know, we all know Scorpio women to be, you know, very, very powerful people, and we know the men to be very, very giving people. And I find that Scorpio have a very jealous streak in them. They can start to make a lot of demands, you know, and they do like structure. And when you have that combination with a Pisces male or Pisces, it's not going to work, because Pisces don't do well with structure or discipline and demands. You know, they're dreamers. They need to just be free and go with how they feel, with the feeling and the vibe. And with a Pisces, with a Scorpio telling them how to do things, what to do, it's not going to work properly. And you know, this is where a Pisces can definitely step out in a relationship if they find that they're not being appreciated, or they're not able to be free with themselves. And I find Scorpio tend to step out in relationships if their feelings also not being met. But I don't find them to step out with just anybody, but they do step out with previous exes, you know, with people that they have real strong, deep connections with, you know. And this is where it gets really bad. You know, not everyone's relationship is like this, but, you know, Scorpios tend to seek revenge a lot of the time. And when they don't trust someone, they may not speak on, you know, I don't trust them, but they will still treat them like they don't trust them. Even if Scorpios don't have any evidence that this person has, you know, betrayed them, that is the worst thing you can do to a Scorpio is betray them. And the worst thing you can do to a Pisces is, so the worst thing you can do to a Pisces is not emotionally fulfill them or support them or cuddle them, you know, during the time of need. And also tear down their insecurities, you know. That's the worst thing you can do. And I find that these two can be so tit for tat. You know, they can definitely pick on each other. You know, Pisces is very, very good at manipulating, and so is Scorpio. You know, it's a very interesting match, because I find Pisces is the only person that can handle Scorpio in the worst, you know, when things are at its worst, you know. And overall, I do find these two are a really good match when things are really, really good. But when things are really, really bad, they both deal with it in the worst ways possible. And they never get over each other. That's the crazy thing. Like, you know, when you have like that one ex from like years and years ago, these two never get past each other. Never. If their love was as deep as what it was, you know, and they're not together anymore, they will never get over each other. They might say, yeah, I'm over it. No. Water signs feel things very deeply, and when these two are solely connected, it's not as easy just to get over someone. It takes a very, 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 very long time for these two to be able to move forward, you know, honestly, without no baggage with someone else. And I find Pisces tend to bring a lot of their baggage into new relationships and try to offload there, but that's not how it runs. So if you're a Scorpio or a Pisces, let me know about your experience dating either one. And thank you for watching, guys. Have a nice day.